Hi Ladysmith and area friends, my name is Tami from Ladysmith Parks Recreation and Culture, and today as a part of Youth Week for our Youth-solation creation, we will be creating no-sew pillows to accent your room, to accent your couch, whatever you like. I have an example of one that I did earlier today. I learned a little tricks along the way to make it better. This one's not my best, but some things you're going to need today. If you have a cutting mat and a roller cutter, that will work great for you. If you don't have those things, a ruler and some really good scissors will work just fine for you. You're also going to need some pinking shears. There are the scissors that cut a zigzag. You're either going to want to have a paper clip or a crochet hook. Definitely a ruler to measure. You're definitely going to want possibly a pencil crayon or a pencil. Paper you could use for a stencil. You're definitely, if you're making your own pillow and not recovering a pillow that you already have, you're definitely going to want some fill for your pillow. So I just have polyester fill. You're going to want some scraps of some material, and your material needs to be about, to have a good size throw pillow, you want about 22 by 22 inches. So today what I have done, I have lots of extra material, and I kind of chose a couple that I liked that were easy and that I had big enough pieces. So I found a piece with daisies on it that's just cotton, and what I did is I cut my size out and then I cut myself a nice heart shape so that I'm going to have a heart shaped throw pillow at the end. With this heart shape, I'm going to want to go around the whole outside and measure in 2 inches all the way around. I can do that with my ruler. And I can just measure, make a slight little mark that you will not see later on. So I can just make a nice little mark on my fabric and measure all the way around 2 inches. So I'm going to work my way all the way around and measure those 2 inches. I have one already prepared, and I have a sample for you so that we could be a little bit quicker today. So you're going to measure 2 inches all the way around your fabric, and then you're going to cut with your pinking shears in that 2 inches, 1 inch apart each one, to make some like tabs all the way around the edges of your fabric. So for an example, I have my other material already done here, and I have all of my tabs done around the edge. As you can see, I have my 1 inch tabs all the way around the edge. So we're going to get to this one later because this is going to be the finished pillow that we do today. But I have some examples. I took some fleece today. Fleece is really easy to work with, so if you have fleece at home, it makes warm, cozy pillows, and it's easy to work with. I took some fleece and I cut some tabs, and I'm going to show you how to do those in a sec. If you're going to recover a pillow that you have, I have some corduroy that I had kicking around, and my son doesn't like his pillow anymore, hence because it has fire trucks on it and he's getting too big for fire trucks. So what I did is I laid the pillow on top of my fabric, and then I measured out from my pillow approximately 2 to 3 inches. So I gave myself a good 3 inches around the whole pillow. With this pillow, I'm going to make this one, when I do the green, I'm going to make it without a fringe, so that it doesn't have tassely fringes on the edge. I'm actually going to do it without a fringe. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can tie the edge of your pillow using my fleece samples here. So first way, that's the easiest way. And so we have all the tassels on the edge of our fringe. I'm going to cut the last one so I can show you. Right there. So the first way that's really, really easy to do is you're just going to take your two tassels and you're just going to tie them together in one knot and then do an extra knot. My tassels aren't quite long enough for that right now. So you're just going to knot them all the way along, and then that's just going to give you a fringe. If you're going to knot them, then you're going to want to give yourself a bit more room and probably a little bit longer tassel. So I would go an extra inch so that you have the room to tie those knots. And then you're just going to tie all the way around, leaving space if you're not covering another pillow to fill it full. If you're going to not tie, and what we have here, so what I've done is I have all of my tassels cut, and then I have folded them all the way back like this. I'll turn it around. Folded them all the way back like this. Taking my straight cut scissors, I've cut a slit in every single one. So if you can see, each one, some of them are a little bit too big. Each one has a slit, so it has a hole in them. And so what you're going to do with that is either your crochet hook or your paper clip. Now, if you're using a paper clip, you're gonna wanna bend your paper clip open so that you have the hook. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna stick your paper clip through if you're using it, and you're gonna grab all those extra end pieces and you're gonna pull them, pull them back through your hole. There we go. So you're gonna pull them back through your hole, and then you're just gonna pull it taut. And so with the crochet hook, same thing. You're just gonna hook them, and you're gonna pull it back through the hole, and then pull taut. Again, hook, pull it back through that hole, and give it a pull, and pull it nice and taut. You can flatten them out a little bit as you go along if you like. Now, if you're not, fleece doesn't fray. Other material will eventually fray. Pinking shears will keep it from fraying so much, so that's part of the reason why we're using them. If you just hand wash your pillow, it should keep it to last longer without fraying so much. So once you've pulled them all through, then you have a nice little tasseled edge for your pillow. And again, the other side you could tie knots if you want. I have another one here that I'm going to show you just a little bit different way that you can do the edge. And this is what I will be doing with my son's pillow, just so that he doesn't have a tassel fringe around the edge. So you're going to line all your pieces up, and instead of cutting your slot that we cut before down really low by the bottom of your tassel that you cut, you're going to fold it just half over so that it's like this. So if this is my whole tassel, I'm just going to fold it half over, and I'm going to cut my new little slot right in the middle of my tassel. So I'm going to work my way along, folding them just in half and cutting my slot right in the middle of my tassel. So three ways actually to make the edge of your pillow. It's completely up to you. If you have fleece, this looks really nice at the end. It creates kind of a weave along the edge, and it doesn't have tassels that stick out. Again. Now when you're doing this one, if you were to do a square pillow, the corners of your pillow, you need to cut out a 2-inch square out of the corners so that you can actually go around the corner without being all bunched up. So if I was to do this and it was a great big square, this corner and this corner would be cut off, and it would be a 2-inch square so that I could weave around the corner. So how this works now is I'm going to take my hook through, and I'm going to grab the next one, and I'm going to pull them both through. Yep. Pull them both through, line them both back up, and then I'm going to put it through those and pull the next one through. And then the next one comes through. Just do this with my fingers. And then the next. And then again, I'm going to line them both up, make sure they're all nice and, oops, that one's through itself. There. Line them up, grab the next one, and pull it through. Just give them a top pull that way, make sure they're nice and flat, line them up, grab the next one, and pull it through. Nice and taut and flat. Smooth everything out along the way. Next one. Again, pull them through, and I'll get the last one here. Pull through. So what it ends up looking like on your edge, although I don't have it filled those pillow, is it ends up looking, and you can tuck the edges under a little bit. If you go back along and just tuck them in, it ends up looking like a weave all the way along the edge, and that would go all the way around the edge of your pillow. So this is a weave without tassels. This is tassels tied through. Or again, you can, if you're using fleece, give yourself an extra inch and then tie knots. So you want to double knot each one that you're tying. So a weave all the way along the edge or tassels. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fancy material that I had, and I have cut all of my edges. So just to show you, I have all of my edges cut already, and I have my slits cut already. So I'm going to work my way around and see if we can quickly get all the way around this, hooking it through, and then we'll be filling it up, and I'll show you the end result of our pillow. So this material is a little bit easier to pull through, and I made my holes really small purposely because I wanted it to be nice and tight, because the material that I have is fairly shiny and fairly slippy. So I didn't want my little tabs to pull out once I had got them through. Whereas I found in my first one that I did earlier, I didn't make long enough tabs, and it kind of pulls open in spots, and I didn't want my fill to come out. So when you're doing thinner, like cotton material or shinier, fancier material, if you have some left over from making a dress or something else, definitely want to make sure that that little hole that's your slit that you're going to pull back through, smaller is better, because it's going to hold it nice and tight. And as you can see, it's not a slow process, it's fairly quick. And cutting them is fairly quick too. You just kind of get into a groove of moving over inch by inch. If you need to, you can lay your ruler on there and go for it and measure it that way. I just kind of wasn't overly picky about how my tassels were going to look, so I kind of got a groove of how far an inch was and just kind of eyeballed it all the way along. So I wasn't too concerned at the end, as long as I had, there it is, fairly consistent size all the way along. Okay, so we're going to keep working all the way around. Once we get all the way around, we're going to leave ourselves not a huge hole, just a big enough hole that we can stuff all of our fill in to fill up our pillow. And again, it's your decision how stuffed your pillow is or how not stuffed your pillow is. It's completely up to you. This is going to be quite I'm not sure if the camera shows it very well, but it's a very shiny material, and it's got really cool golden it's kind of starry looking. Oops, oh, there we go. So I just have a plastic crochet hook. If you had a metal one, it might be a bonus, because you could pull a little tougher through. So I think that little slit that I made there was pretty tight. Good. So we're almost halfway around. That hasn't taken too long. So I'm going to keep plodding away here, and hopefully we'll get through. There we go. It's a good idea each time you go through and hook it through to just give a little tug to make sure it's tight. Thinking I'm going to make some more of these for the tent trailer. There's going to be some backyard camping this summer. It will be fun to have a bunch of fun little throw cushy pillows in there. So lots of things you can do with them. You can accent your room. You can make them for the hammock outside. You can make them for the swing if you have one outside. Lots of fun things you can do with these little pillows, and they're easy to make. They don't require you to have any sort of amazing sewing skills. The other thing you can do as well when you're doing your pattern, so while I'm doing this, I'm just going to talk a little bit to you. When you're doing your pattern, if you're worried about measuring in, you can always make yourself a template out of a piece of paper that goes inside your design that you can set on top of it so that you have something to cut into. It just simplifies it a little bit so that you don't have a measure. Another thing you could do is you could use, if you have some painter's tape would work really, really well for you to be able to pull in, to be able to tape it all the way around your marks that you've made, and then that way it'll be easier for you to cut in as well. Okay, I think I'm going to start, oops, what happened there? There we go. Okay, I'm going to start at the bottom. I'll work my way back up, and then I'm going to fill this corner. So that's me, my corner that we put our fill in. The points and the dip at the top of the heart were kind of hard to decide how I was going to get in there and cut my little slits that I have put. So I did them as best I could. I don't know if they're the best that they could have been. So if you can kind of balance that out and make it work for you, great. There we go. Mine are kind of on an angle at the bottom. It'll work. They're tougher to pull through because the material is very slippy. There we go. Perfect. Kind of find if I push it through and kind of twist it around the fabric and grab the other side, then it pulls through really quickly and easily. We're almost there to be able to fill. I hope everybody's enjoying Youth Week. I know that it's harder to do Youth Week when you're not with your friends, but I've heard some great things about some kids doing some cool stuff. So I hope everyone's being safe and doing things that are keeping them busy and active and fun. All right, we're almost there to being able to put some fill in here. And then hopefully you'll have an amazing pillow at the end. Okay, so you can see how it's starting to look. It's very flat right now, but it's got all my tassels around the edge. I'm gonna do just a couple more and then I'm going to give myself room to fill. And then So some options for filling. If you want to fill with fiber fill, that's great. The other thing you can do is if you have some favorite stuffies in your room that you've had since you were little, but you don't want them out in your room anymore because you don't want other people to see all your favorite stuffies, this is an amazing place to hide your stuffies in your brand new pillow. Okay, so I am going to just fold this back here, and now as you can see, I have a pocket that I can fit my hand inside, and I am going to literally take some handfuls of fill and stuff it in. Keep packing it in to make my pillow. And you just kind of want to flatten it out as you go because you don't want your pillow to be super duper lumpy everywhere. Just kind of fill it up and smush it in. Depends on how hard and how thick you want your pillow. I'm going to put quite a bit in. Apparently it's getting all over me too, so interesting. Oh, I lost one of my little things here. I'll have to fix it after. Ooh. Okay. So I've lost one. I'm just going to fix it. One of those ones that I did in a point instead of a flat square. So be cautious of that. Might tie those together at the top just to keep them together after. Okay, I need some more fluff in my corner here. Okay. A little bit more. Move that off to the side, and we're gonna finish by making sure all those bits are in, tying off our pillow. Now this is a little bit trickier once you have stuff in there, just because you are now dealing with something that is 3D versus flat, and I do need a little more stuffing in that corner because I want it to be even all the way around. Here we go. lost my one there. There we go. I lost my tie there. Slipped on me. Okay. Back through the hole. There we go. Give it a nice tug. Couple more to go here. Give it a tug. Oops. A little bit tough on the end there, and I've lost 2 of my ties in there, so I have to squish my fill back in. Pull my last tie got squished in when I was doing my fill. So I'm gonna pull my last tie out. This one needs a tug. There we go. Now again, my ones that I have that are right in the center dip of the heart, I'm probably gonna later just take them and tie them off, just because of the way I made them. They're a little bit different. But I move this out of the way and may have put a little too much filling in there, but here we have a pretty tasseled heart-shaped pillow. It's pretty comfy. I hope you have fun finding some material and making your no-sew pillows. Throw a picture in the post below and let us know what you made, and let us see your creations. They could be better than mine. I'm gonna do a little tweaking to the top edge of this just to make sure it stays closed, but it turned out pretty cool. And it's very squishy, and it'll surely look nice just tossed on a chair or on someone's bed in my room. I hope you enjoyed today's Youth-solation creation, and I hope you're having fun for Youth Week. Stay safe, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.